Here's a question for you. Remember when the future seemed to be a place with flying cars and robots and people traveling through space? Back then, technology meant promise and potential. Americans were much more optimistic about the role it would play in their daily lives. Fast forward to today, and that optimism seems to be vanishing.
Robots had been fully integrated into our imagination. Now they're finally here, but instead of serving us, we find them competing for our jobs.
Reports of automation, artificial intelligence, and self-driving vehicles replacing human workers are everywhere. Even with near record-low unemployment, Americans are more and more concerned about losing their jobs because of new technologies. Jobs in manufacturing, in the service sector, and in retail are especially vulnerable. Here's one example straight from the headlines. Nearly 3 million Americans drive trucks for a living. If self-driving technology develops at its current pace, these jobs could vanish in the next 10 to 15 years. In addition, accountants, doctors, and lawyers were once thought to be impervious to disruption. But even these better-paying professions could be redefined with massive shifts in how work is done. Technological disruption has come as wages have stagnated for decades, income inequality has increased, and the middle class has shrunk. So how can the United States prepare for this disruption and build new opportunities for its workers? The past might offer some answers. More than 100 years ago, during the height of the Industrial Revolution, new technologies gave rise to new ways of working. Technologies like electricity, the steam engine, the telephone, and the automobile all required different skills from American workers. The United States responded by expanding free public education and training opportunities, far outpacing any other country. In just 30 years, the number of school-age children attending high school skyrocketed from 18 to 73%. And those completing their schooling went from 9 to 51%. The link between education and good jobs is even clearer today. Most jobs created by retiring baby boomers require advanced degrees or specialized training. Yet more than half of all Americans have only a high school education or less. That means even more good jobs are at risk of going unfilled. So what can be done? The first step is to see education and work as closely linked. Almost half of U.S. companies complain that too few graduates leave school with the skills they need to enter the workforce. For younger students, this means a greater focus on work-study programs, early job-oriented counseling, internships, apprenticeships, and career-related coursework. Companies, educational institutions, and government should help support programs that allow workers to learn new skills at every stage of their careers. So that's how workers get trained for the future. But how do we ensure that those who have acquired skills get jobs? Unfortunately, the United States has a big matching problem. Sometimes this means there aren't enough workers where jobs are being created. For example, the Rust Belt might lose manufacturing jobs while Silicon Valley is booming. Here too, we can look to the past. In the 1950s and 60s, Americans were the most mobile people in the world. When jobs were scarce in one part of the country, they would move to where jobs were more plentiful. That doesn't happen as much today. One culprit is that booming urban areas lack affordable housing and public transportation to get people to where the jobs are located. Another major obstacle is excessive state and local credentialing and licensing requirements. For example, the country's 3 million teachers must have state-issued licenses in order to work in school systems. Yet most states don't recognize licenses issued by other states. It's not just teachers. Bartenders, interior decorators, cosmetologists, manicurists, and even florists typically require some sort of state license that's not recognized across state lines. Sometimes, the matching problem means employers demand college degrees for jobs that don't require them, or overlook good applicants who lack work experience. Here, we can look to the future. Big data will empower employers to use more precise job matching behind the scenes and to share credential requirements. It can also help applicants showcase their abilities to the largest number of companies. This all sounds pretty good, but what else is needed to create more opportunities for the American workforce? Federal, state, and local governments should provide better services for workers transitioning from one job to another. Things like skills retraining and job counseling are crucial and will be even more essential for those working in ways unimaginable to previous generations. The United States currently provides just a small fraction of what most European countries do to help workers who lose their jobs retrain for new careers. In addition, support systems such as healthcare, sick leave, family leave, and retirement benefits are generally only available to full-time workers. Low-wage, part-time, and independent contractors are making up a larger and larger share of the U.S. workforce. These employment benefits could be tied to the worker rather than to the job throughout their careers. Education, retraining, mobility, and support systems might sound like tall orders for the country. But remember, the United States has overcome large challenges in the past. We need to do it again. Nothing less than the future of the U.S. workforce depends on it.